Dr. Elena Vasquez stood at the window of her office on the 40th floor of the Geneva Peace Center. She watched the morning sun paint the Swiss mountains in gold and orange. Below her, the city was waking up. Electric cars moved silently through the streets. Children walked to school without guards or fear. It was a beautiful morning in the year 2157, and Elena smiled. The world had not seen war for over 90 years. The last conflict ended in 2067 when the Terran Peace Accord was signed. Every nation on Earth agreed to solve problems with words. Not weapons, they built schools instead of armies. They created medicine instead of bombs. They explored space to find new homes, not to fight over old ones. Elena was the director of xenological studies. Her job was to prepare for the day when humans would meet aliens from other worlds. She had spent 20 years learning about different cultures on Earth. She studied how to talk to people who thought differently. She believed that if humans could make peace with each other, they could make peace with anyone. Her computer made a soft sound. A message appeared on the screen. Elena read it, and her coffee cup stopped halfway to her lips. The message was from the Deep Space Monitoring Station on the Moon. They had found something moving toward Earth, something big, something that was not human. Elena's hands shook as she called her assistant. "Sarah, cancel all my meetings today. Call the Peace Council. Tell them we have a Code 7 situation." Code 7 meant possible alien contact. Elena had written the protocols herself. She had dreamed of this day. But now that it was here, she felt scared and excited at the same time. Within an hour, the Peace Council gathered in the emergency meeting room. 12 people from different countries sat around a round table. The table was made from wood donated by every nation on Earth. It was a symbol of unity. President Chun of the Asian Federation spoke first. "Dr. Vasquez, please tell us what we know." Elena stood and activated the wall screen. It showed a picture from the moon station's telescopes. 3 dark shapes moved against the stars. They were still far away, but they were definitely coming toward Earth. "The objects are approximately 500 kilometers long," Elena said. "They are moving at 15% of light speed. At their current rate, they will reach Earth in 6 days. The shapes are not natural. They are ships." The room was quiet. General Morrison, the head of the Terran Defense Force, cleared his throat. "What are our defensive options?" Elena looked at him with surprise. "General, these are our first visitors from another world. We should be talking about welcome parties, not weapons." "I understand your hope, Doctor," General Morrison said. "But my job is to protect Earth. Our defense forces are small. Most of our ships are for exploration, not fighting. If these aliens are hostile. President Chun raised her hand. "We will follow the peace protocols Dr. Vasquez has prepared for this situation. We will assume peaceful intentions until proven otherwise." Elena nodded. "I suggest we send a welcome message on all frequencies. We should prepare gifts that show our culture. Art, music, science. We should make it clear that we want friendship." The council voted. 11 members said yes to the peaceful approach. Only General Morrison voted no. For the next 6 days, Earth prepared for its first alien visitors. Scientists worked around the clock to create a message that would translate across different ways of thinking. Artists made beautiful pieces that showed the best of human creativity. Musicians composed songs that expressed hope and welcome. Elena barely slept. She read every book about first contact that had ever been written. She practiced speeches in front of her mirror. She wanted everything to be perfect. On the 6th day, the alien ships arrived. They were even more impressive up close. The ships looked like they were made of crystal and metal. They reflected sunlight in patterns that hurt to look at directly. The ships moved with grace, like dancers in space. The 3 ships took positions above Earth's largest cities. One hovered over New York, another floated above Shanghai. The third positioned itself over London. They made no aggressive moves. They simply waited. Elena was in the main communications room when the first message came. It was not words or pictures. It was mathematics. Simple equations that any intelligent species would understand. 2 plus 2 equals 4. The circumference of a circle, the golden ratio. They're saying hello, Elena whispered. Tears rolled down her cheeks. They're actually saying hello. Earth responded with the same mathematical language. Then came more complex exchanges, pictures of atoms, star charts. Finally, the aliens sent an image of themselves. They were tall and thin, with bodies that seemed to be made of living crystal. Light moved through them like blood through veins. They had no faces as humans understood them, but they moved with purpose and intelligence. Beautiful, Elena said. They're beautiful. The aliens called themselves the hegemony. They said they came in peace. They wanted to learn about human culture. They offered to share their knowledge in return. Elena was chosen to lead the human delegation. She felt proud and nervous as she prepared for the first face-to-face meeting. The aliens had landed a small ship in a field outside Geneva. They agreed to meet there with just a few representatives from each side. Dr. Marcus Chun was assigned as Elena's advisor. Marcus had been a military strategist before the peace accord. Now he worked as a conflict resolution specialist. He helped solve problems between different groups of people. I don't like this, Marcus said as they rode toward the meeting site. Something feels wrong. What do you mean? Elena asked. They've been perfectly polite. They've answered all our questions. That's just it, Marcus said. They've answered our questions, but they've also asked a lot of their own. Questions about our technology, our defenses, our government structure. Elena waved her hand dismissively. Of course they're curious. We're curious about them too. This is natural for any first contact situation. The alien ship looked like a silver teardrop sitting in the green field. It was smaller than Elena had expected, only about the size of a house, but it was beautiful, with no visible seams or joints. It looked like it had been grown rather than built. 3 aliens emerged from the ship. They moved with fluid grace, their crystal bodies catching the afternoon sunlight. The lead alien approached Elena and made a gesture that seemed like a bow. We greet you, Elena Vasquez of Earth, the alien said. Its voice came from a small device it carried. The words were perfectly clear, though Elena could see the alien's mouth did not move the way human mouths did. We greet you, visitors from the stars, Elena replied. She had practiced this moment many times. We welcome you to Earth in peace and friendship. The alien seemed pleased. We have traveled far to meet your species. We have watched your world from a distance. We are impressed by your achievements in creating peace. Elena felt her heart swell with pride. We have worked hard to end war and conflict. We believe that all intelligent beings can live together in harmony. Yes, the alien said, this is why we have come. We wish to learn from you. We wish to help you grow. The meeting lasted for 3 hours. The aliens showed holographic images of their home star system. They spoke of their peaceful civilization. They offered to share their technology for clean energy and faster-than-light travel. In return, they asked to set up research stations on Earth. They wanted to study human culture and science. They promised that their presence would benefit everyone. Elena agreed to take their proposal to the Peace Council. She was excited. This was everything she had hoped for. Peaceful aliens who wanted to share knowledge and culture, but as they walked back to their vehicles, Marcus grabbed Elena's arm. Did you notice how they positioned themselves during the meeting? What do you mean? They never put their backs to their ship. They always knew where our security team was standing. And those questions about our communication networks and power? Grids, those weren't casual curiosity. Elena pulled her arm free. Marcus, you're being paranoid. This is the greatest moment in human history. Don't ruin it with old military thinking. Marcus watched the alien ship lift silently into the sky. His instincts, trained by years of studying conflict, told him something was wrong. But Elena was right about one thing. The old world of war and suspicion was supposed to be dead. He hoped he was wrong. He hoped Elena was right to trust these beautiful Peaceful visitors, but Marcus Chen had not survived his military career by ignoring his instincts. And right now, every instinct he had was screaming danger. 3 months had passed since the aliens arrived. Elena Vasquez looked out her office window at the crystal towers that now stood in Geneva's city center. The hegemony had built their research station faster than anyone thought possible. The towers rose like frozen lightning from the earth, beautiful and strange. Elena felt proud of what they had accomplished. Human scientists worked alongside the aliens every day. They were learning about new forms of energy that could power cities without pollution. The aliens shared star maps that showed thousands of worlds. They spoke of a great community of peaceful species among the stars. The Peace Council had voted to accept the hegemony's proposal. Research stations now stood in 12 major cities around the world: New York, Shanghai, London, Moscow, Delhi, Sao Paulo, Lagos, Sydney, Cairo, Tokyo, Berlin, and Geneva. Each station was a marvel of crystal and metal that seemed to grow from the ground itself. Elena's computer chimed. A message from the hegemony research leader appeared on her screen. Ambassador Kethver wanted to meet with her about expanding their cultural exchange program. Elena smiled and typed back that she would be happy to meet. She walked through the corridors of the Peace Center toward the meeting room. The walls displayed art from around the world. Paintings from every culture showed the beauty that humans could create when they worked together instead of fighting. Ambassador Kethver waited in the room. The alien's crystal body caught the light from the windows. Patterns of blue and green moved through its translucent skin like slow lightning. Elena had grown used to the alien's appearance, but she still found them beautiful. Elena Vasquez, the alien said through its translation device. We are pleased with the progress of our cooperation. As am I, Elena replied. Our scientists are learning so much from your people. The new energy systems you've shown us could change everything. Yes, Kethver said, but we believe we can do more. We would like to establish communication hubs in every major population center on your world. This would allow us to share information more efficiently. Elena nodded. That sounds wonderful. I'll present the proposal to the Peace Council. There is one more thing, the alien continued. We have detected some resistance to our presence among certain groups of humans. We understand this is natural, but it concerns us. Perhaps you could help us identify these groups so we can address their concerns directly. Elena frowned. What kind of resistance? Small groups who question our motives. They spread rumors about our intentions. We only wish to help, but some of your people seem afraid of change. I'll look into it, Elena said. But I'm sure it's nothing serious. Some people always resist new things. It will pass. After the meeting, Elena felt troubled. She had not heard of any resistance groups. She decided to investigate. Meanwhile, across the city, Marcus Chan sat in a small cafe with 5 other people. They spoke in quiet voices, their faces serious. Marcus had been watching the aliens carefully for 3 months. What he saw worried him. The pattern is clear, Marcus said to the group. Look at where they've built their stations. Every major population center, every important government building, every major communications hub. This isn't random. Dr. Sarah Kim, a quantum communications expert, leaned forward. I've been monitoring their data transmissions. They're sending much more information than they're receiving. And it's all encrypted. With algorithms I can't break. What kind of information? Asked Dr. James Wright, a former military engineer. Everything, Sarah replied. Population data, infrastructure maps, energy grid locations, military installation records, even the old, decommissioned ones. They're creating a complete picture of our world. Marcus spread a map on the table. Red dots marked the alien research stations. Look at this. If you wanted to take control of Earth quickly, these are exactly the positions you would choose. Command and control centers for every major region. But they're peaceful, said Dr. Maria Santos, though her voice carried doubt. They've shared their technology with us. They've answered our questions, have they? Marcus asked. Think about what they've actually given us. Energy theories we can't implement without their equipment. Star maps to places we can't reach. Promises of technologies they haven't delivered. Meanwhile, they've learned everything about us. The group sat in uncomfortable silence. Finally, Wright spoke. What do you want us to do, Marcus? Even if you're right, what can we do? The Peace Council trusts them completely. The military is barely functional. Most of our weapons were destroyed or mothballed decades ago. We watch, Marcus said. We document everything. And we prepare for the worst. Prepare how? Sarah asked. Marcus looked around the table at each face. We remember what our grandparents knew, how to fight, how to hide, how to resist. Just in case we need to. That night, Elena worked late in her office. She searched through reports and communications, looking for signs of the resistance groups the aliens had mentioned. She found nothing official, but she did notice something strange. Several scientists had requested access to old military databases. A few engineers had been asking questions about decommissioned defense systems. She was about to dismiss it as natural curiosity when her computer alerted her to an incoming priority message. It was from the Deep Space Monitoring Station on the Moon. Dr. Vasquez, the message read, we've detected additional ships approaching Earth, hegemony configuration. Estimated arrival in 72 hours. Please advise. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The aliens had not mentioned more ships coming. She immediately called Ambassador Kethfer. Ambassador, we've detected more of your ships approaching Earth. We weren't informed of additional arrivals. There was a pause before. The alien responded, Ah, yes, these are supply ships. We need additional equipment for our research. It is a minor matter. How many ships? Another pause. Perhaps 20 vessels. All peaceful research ships, we assure you. Elena ended the call feeling uneasy. 20 ships was not a minor matter. And why hadn't they mentioned it before? She decided to contact Marcus Chun. Despite their disagreements, she respected his judgment about security matters. She found his contact information and sent him a message asking for a private meeting. They met the next morning in a small park outside the city. Marcus listened as Elena told him about the approaching ships and her growing concerns. Elena, Marcus said gently, I need to show you something. He handed her a tablet computer. The screen showed surveillance footage from around the alien research stations. Elena watched as alien figures moved in and out of the crystal towers. But something was wrong. There were far more aliens than should have been there. And they were carrying equipment that looked nothing like research tools. Where did you get this? Elena asked. I have friends who never stopped watching, Marcus replied. Look at the timestamp. This was recorded last night after midnight. Why are research scientists moving military-grade equipment in the middle of the night? Elena stared at the screen. The equipment the aliens carried looked like weapons. Sleek crystal devices that hummed with energy. Her heart began to race. There's more, Marcus said. He swiped to another video. This one showed the inside of one of the research stations. Elena gasped. Instead of laboratories, she saw rows of what looked like weapon racks and computer terminals displaying Earth's defense networks. How did you get inside footage? One of our people works in the building maintenance crew. He installed a micro camera during a routine cleaning. Marcus paused. Elena, these aren't research stations. They're military command centers. Elena felt the world spinning around her. Everything she had believed, everything she had worked for, was a lie? We have to warn the Peace Council. With what proof? Surveillance footage they'll say was faked? Questions about ships they'll say are for research? Marcus shook his head. Elena, I've been preparing for this. If I'm right, if those 20 ships aren't carrying research equipment, then we have maybe 48 hours before everything changes. What do you mean? Marcus looked at the alien towers rising in the distance. I think they're waiting for reinforcements. Once those ships arrive, they won't need to pretend anymore. Elena felt tears on her cheeks. I trusted them. I wanted so badly to believe. You wanted peace, Marcus said. That's not wrong. But sometimes the only way to keep Pieces to be ready for war. The next morning, Elena woke to the sound of alarms. She rushed to her window and saw chaos in the streets below. The alien towers were glowing brighter than ever before. Strange sounds filled the air, like crystals singing in harmony. Her phone rang. It was Sarah Kim, the communications expert from Marcus's group. Her voice was panicked. Elena, they're jamming everything. Radio, television, internet, even emergency services. The only signals getting through are from the alien towers. Elena tried to call the Peace Council. No connection. She tried to reach the military command center. Nothing. She tried to contact the moon station. Silence. Then the towers began to open. Like flowers blooming, sections of crystal peeled back to reveal what was hidden inside. Elena watched in horror as weapons platforms rose from within the beautiful structures. Energy cannons pointed at the sky and at key buildings throughout. The city the 20 ships that had arrived during the night descended through the clouds. But these were not research vessels. They were warships bristling. The alien ships landed in perfect formation across Earth's major cities. Elena watched from her office window as crystal beings poured out of the vessels like water from broken dams. They moved with purpose, spreading through the streets in organized groups. Some carried devices that hummed with energy. Others held tools that looked like they could cut through anything. The hegemony's voice echoed from speakers that appeared throughout the city. The same message played in every language on Earth. Citizens of Earth, remain calm. You are now under hegemony protection. Report to designated collection points for processing. Resistance will result in correction measures. Cooperation ensures survival. Elena grabbed her emergency bag and ran toward the stairs. The elevators had stopped working when the aliens jammed the power grid. She could hear explosions in the distance and see smoke rising from several parts of the city. On the 10th floor, she met Dr. Sarah Kim running up the stairs. Sarah's face was covered in dust and her clothes were torn. "Elena, thank God you're okay," Sarah gasped. They hit the communications center first. Took out the main servers with some kind of energy weapon. But I managed to save the backup quantum transmitters. Can we still contact people? Elena asked as they continued down the stairs. Maybe. The quantum network uses different frequencies. They might not know about it yet. Sarah pulled a small device from her bag. Marcus gave me these emergency communicators last month. I thought he was being paranoid. They reached the ground floor and carefully looked outside. Alien soldiers stood at every intersection. Their crystal bodies reflected the afternoon light, making them look like living statues. Humans walked past them with their heads down, moving toward large gathering areas that had been set up in the city squares. Elena and Sarah slipped out the back door of the building. They moved through narrow alleys, staying away from the main streets. The emergency communicator in Sarah's hand crackled to life. "This is Marcus. Any station, any station. If you can hear this, respond with your location and status." Sarah pressed the transmit button. "Marcus, this is Sarah. I'm with Elena near the Peace Center. The aliens have taken control of the downtown area. What's your status?" "We're at the old subway tunnels beneath the university. We have about 30 people here, including some engineers and former military personnel. Can you make it to us?" Elena took the communicator. "Marcus, this is Elena. I'm sorry." "You were right about everything. Save the apologies for later." Marcus replied, "Right now we need to focus on survival. Do you know anything about their equipment or weaknesses?" "They've been studying us for months. They know our technology, our weaknesses, everything." Elena felt tears starting. "I gave them everything. I trusted them completely." "Elena, listen to me." Marcus's voice was firm but kind. "You did what you thought was right? But now we need to think like soldiers, not diplomats. What did you learn about them during the cultural exchange?" Elena wiped her eyes and tried to think. "They're stronger than humans, but they move more slowly. Their bodies are made of some kind of living crystal. They use technology we don't understand, but they needed our help to operate some of our equipment." "Good. What else?" "They asked a lot of questions about our history. especially about wars and conflicts. They seem very interested in how we solve problems through violence. Elena paused. They kept saying they were impressed by how we achieved peace. But now I think they were really studying how we used to fight. Sarah grabbed Elena's arm. There's a patrol coming this way. 3 aliens moving fast. They pressed themselves against the wall of a building. The aliens walked past without seeing them. Elena noticed that the creatures made almost no sound when they moved. Their feet seemed to glide over the ground. After the patrol passed, they continued toward the university. The streets were eerily quiet. Most humans had either been gathered by the aliens or were hiding. Abandoned cars sat in the middle of roads. Shop windows were broken. The peaceful world Elena had known was disappearing before her eyes. They reached the university campus after an hour of careful movement. Marcus had chosen the meeting place well. The old subway tunnels had been abandoned. For decades, when the city built new transportation systems, the entrances were hidden and hard to find. Elena and Sarah climbed down through a maintenance hatch into the tunnels. Emergency lights powered by portable batteries lit the way. They found Marcus and his group in a large chamber that had once been a subway station. Elena was surprised by how many people were there. Scientists, engineers, teachers, even some artists and musicians. About 50 people total, with more arriving every few hours. Elena, Sarah, thank God you made it, Marcus said. We've been monitoring alien communications through Sarah's quantum network. The situation is worse than we thought. Dr. James Wright, the former military engineer, spread papers on an old table. They're not just occupying our cities. They're setting up processing centers. Humans are being sorted into categories. What kind of categories? Elena asked. Scientists and engineers go to research facilities. They want to learn more about our technology. Strong, healthy adults go to work camps. They're being sent to mining operations to extract something from deep underground. Wright paused. Children and elderly people are being sent to what they call preservation centers. We don't know what that means. Elena felt sick. They're treating us like animals. Like livestock? It gets worse, Sarah said, checking her equipment. I've intercepted some of their internal communications. This isn't just about our planet. They're part of something bigger. An empire that conquers worlds and enslaves species. Earth is just their latest target. Marcus stood up. Then we have to fight back. But first, we need to understand what we're fighting with. Wright opened a large case. Inside were weapons that Elena had never seen before. Old-style firearms, explosives, and devices she didn't recognize. Where did these come from? Elena asked. Remember when I told you most of our weapons were destroyed? Marcus smiled grimly. I lied. Some of us never believed the peace would last forever. We hid weapons and equipment in secret locations around the world. Old military bunkers, abandoned factories, underground storage facilities. You planned for this? We planned for the possibility. We hoped we were wrong, but we prepared for the worst. Marcus picked up one of the weapons. These are kinetic firearms. They fire solid projectiles instead of energy beams. The alien shields are designed to stop energy weapons, but they might not work against old-fashioned bullets. Dr. Maria Santos, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. I've been studying the aliens' biology from the samples they shared during the cultural exchange. Their crystal structure is very strong, but it has a weakness. It resonates at specific frequencies. The right sound waves could potentially shatter them. You mean we could use sound as a weapon? Elena asked. Possibly. I need more time to study the frequencies, but yes. Their greatest strength might also be their greatest weakness. Over the next few hours, more resistance groups contacted them. Through the quantum network. Similar groups were forming in London, New York, Shanghai, and other cities. Some had managed to rescue people from the alien processing centers. Others had recovered hidden weapons and equipment, but the news was mostly bad. The aliens were moving quickly to establish complete control. Anyone who resisted was immediately captured or killed. The crystal beings seemed to have unlimited patience and resources. Elena found herself assigned to intelligence gathering. Her knowledge of the aliens and their technology made her valuable for planning attacks. It felt strange to be planning violence after spending her life promoting peace, but she was beginning to understand what Marcus had tried to tell her. Sometimes the only way to protect peace was to fight for it. Late that night, Elena sat with Marcus in a quiet corner of the tunnel. I keep thinking about all the information I gave them, all the trust I showed them. I helped them plan this invasion. You couldn't have known, Marcus said. They were very good at deception. They studied US for a long time before they made contact. They knew exactly what to say and do to gain our trust. But you suspected them from the beginning. How? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Because I remember what humans are capable of when we want something badly enough. The aliens wanted our world. When someone wants something that badly, they'll say anything to get it. Elena nodded. So what do we do now? We learn to be human again. Not the peaceful, trusting humans we became, but the humans our ancestors were. The ones who survived ice ages and plagues and wars. The ones who never gave up, no matter how bad things got. Can we really fight them? They have technology we can't even understand. Marcus smiled, and for the first time since the invasion Elena saw hope in his eyes. Elena, there's something the aliens don't understand about humans. They studied our peace, but they didn't study our war. They know how we think when we're safe and comfortable, but they don't know how we think when we're angry and desperate. What do you mean? When humans have nothing left to lose, we become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The aliens are about to learn that lesson the hard way. Above them, in the city streets, alien patrols continued their work. They sorted humans like cargo, confident in their superiority. They had 2 weeks had passed since the invasion began. The resistance movement had grown from a few dozen people hiding in tunnels to thousands of fighters spread across the globe. Elena worked 18-hour days coordinating between different groups. Using Sarah's quantum communication network, the network now connected resistance cells in 47 cities. Each group had learned to strike fast and disappear quickly. They rescued prisoners from processing centers, sabotaged alien equipment, and gathered intelligence about enemy movements. Elena sat in what they called the war room, a large tunnel chamber filled with computers, maps, and communication equipment. Dr. Maria Santos rushed in carrying a data pad, her eyes bright with excitement. Elena, I figured it out, Maria said. The frequency that can disrupt their crystal biology. I tested it on samples we recovered from a damaged alien soldier. What kind of frequency? Elena asked. Sound waves at 18.7 kilohertz. It's just above human hearing range, but it makes their crystal structure vibrate violently. If we can generate enough sound at that frequency, we could potentially shatter them. Elena felt a spark of hope. How do we create that kind of sound? We're working on it. Dr. Yamamoto in Tokyo has been modifying audio equipment. Some of the musicians in our group have been experimenting with electronic instruments. We think we can build sonic weapons. Marcus walked into the room carrying a worn backpack. His clothes were dirty and he looked tired, but he was smiling. Elena, I have good news and better news. Tell me the good news first. We successfully raided the alien storage facility outside Berlin. We rescued 200 prisoners and captured several pieces of their technology. Marcus opened his backpack and pulled out a crystal device about the size of a book. This is one of their personal shields. Our tech people are studying it now. What's the better news? We made contact with Captain Rebecca Santos. She's alive. And she's not alone. Elena's eyes widened. Captain Santos had been commander of the Terran Defense Force's Deep Space Patrol. She had disappeared with her ship 2 days before the invasion. Where is she? Elena asked. In orbit around Jupiter, hiding in the asteroid belt. She has 3 ships with her and about 500 crew members. When the invasion started, she went dark and stayed hidden. Marcus grinned. She's been watching the aliens and learning their patterns. And she has a plan. Marcus activated a secure communication link. Captain Santos's face appeared on the screen. She was a woman in her 50s with short gray hair and determined eyes. Dr. Vasquez, it's good to see you're alive, Santos said. I understand you're coordinating resistance efforts on the ground. Captain Santos, I'm so glad you survived. What's your situation up there? We have 3 ships, the destroyer TDF Defiance, the cruiser TDF Wellington, and the research vessel TDF Discovery. All 3 were supposed to be decommissioned, but I kept them operational for deep space patrol. Santos paused. The aliens think Earth's space defenses were completely dismantled. They're wrong, Elena felt excitement building. Can you attack? Their ships? Not directly. They have 40 vessels in Earth orbit and we have 3. But I've been studying their supply lines. Every 72 hours they send cargo ships to collect processed materials from the surface. Those ships are lightly defended. Marcus leaned forward. What are you thinking, Captain? Hit-and-run attacks. We strike their supply ships, steal their cargo, and disappear back into the asteroid belt. It won't win the war, but it will disrupt their operations and give us intelligence about their technology. Elena thought about the plan. What do you need from us? Information. We need to know when and where the cargo ships will land. We also need you to cause enough chaos on the ground to distract them while we attack. Maria stepped forward. Captain, we've discovered a weakness in their biology. Sound waves at a specific frequency can damage their crystal structure. Could you help us weaponize this? Santos nodded. The Discovery has advanced audio research equipment. If you can send us the technical specifications, we might be able to build larger sonic weapons. Over the next few days, the Resistance prepared for their largest coordinated attack yet. The plan was simple but dangerous. When the next alien cargo ships arrived, ground teams would attack processing centers in 12 cities simultaneously. This would force the aliens to respond with their security forces, leaving the cargo ships less protected. Elena led the planning for the Geneva attack. Their target was the main processing center that had been built in the old Olympic Stadium. Intelligence reports said about 3,000 humans were held there, waiting to be shipped to mining colonies on other worlds. The night before the attack, Elena couldn't sleep. She walked through the tunnels, checking on the fighters who would risk their lives tomorrow. Many of them were people who had never held weapons before the invasion. Teachers, shop workers, office employees who had learned to fight because they had no choice. She found Marcus in the weapons preparation area, cleaning an old rifle. The weapon looked ancient compared to the energy weapons the aliens used, but it had one advantage. It worked. Are you scared? Elena asked. Terrified, Marcus replied honestly, but also angry. These aliens came to our world pretending to be friends. They used our trust against us. They treat us like animals. He looked up at Elena. Fear and anger can make you do stupid things, but they can also make you do impossible things. What if we fail? Then we try again and again? Until we succeed or there's no one left to try. Marcus set down his rifle. Elena, there's something I want you to understand. Win or lose, we've already accomplished something important. What do you mean? We've proven that humans don't give up. For 90 years, people thought we had become soft, weak, unable to fight. But when it mattered, when our survival was at stake, we remembered who we are. The attack began at dawn. Resistance fighters emerged from sewers, abandoned buildings, and hidden tunnels. They struck at 12 locations simultaneously, catching the aliens by surprise. Elena's team moved through the Olympic Stadium like ghosts. They had studied the building's layout for weeks. They knew every entrance, every corridor, every room where prisoners might be held. The sonic weapons Maria had designed worked better than anyone expected. The high-frequency sound waves disrupted the aliens' crystal bodies, causing them to shatter like glass. The creatures' energy shields provided no protection against sound. Within an hour, the Resistance had freed nearly all the prisoners from the Geneva facility. Similar successes were reported from other cities, but the aliens responded quickly, sending reinforcements to recapture the facilities. High above Earth, Captain Santos watched the alien response through her ship's sensors. As expected, most of their security forces were rushing to defend the processing centers. The cargo ships approaching Earth were protected by only two escort vessels. "All ships, this is Santos," she broadcast to her small fleet. "Begin attack. Run, target the escort ships first, then the cargo vessels. Remember, we're not trying to destroy everything. We need those ships intact so we can study their technology." The space battle lasted only 15 minutes. The alien escorts were caught completely off guard. They had never expected to face human warships this far from Earth. The Defiance and Wellington used their old-fashioned missile systems to disable the escort ships, while the Discovery captured two cargo vessels with magnetic grappling hooks, but the victory came with a cost. The aliens now knew that humans still had functioning warships. They would be more careful in the future on the ground. Elena and her team successfully evacuated the Olympic Stadium, but they were pursued by alien reinforcements. The retreat became a running battle through the streets of Geneva. Several resistance fighters were lost, including Dr. Wright, who stayed behind to hold a choke point so others could escape. Back in the tunnels, Elena stared at the casualty reports. 15 resistance fighters had died in Geneva alone. Across all 12 cities, they had lost 62 people. But they had also rescued over 8,000 prisoners and proven that the aliens could be hurt. Maria entered the war room carrying a crystal device taken from a destroyed alien soldier. "Elena, I've been studying their communication equipment. I think I can modify our quantum network to intercept their transmissions." "What kind of transmissions?" "Orders from their command ships, tactical communications, maybe even information about their homeworld." Maria's eyes were bright with possibilities. "If we can understand their language and decode their messages, we might learn about their overall strategy." Sarah looked up from her communication console. "Captain Santos is sending us data from the captured cargo ships. She says the technology is unlike anything she's ever seen, but her engineers think they can reverse engineer some of it." Elena felt a mixture of grief and hope. They had lost good people today, but they had also proven something important. Humans could fight back, they could hurt the aliens, they could win. "What's our next move?" Elena asked. Marcus studied the tactical displays. "We keep hitting them, harder and faster each time. We rescue more prisoners, we capture more technology. We learn their weaknesses." He paused. "And we start planning something bigger." "What do you mean?" "The aliens made one big mistake. They assumed we were like the other species they conquered, peaceful, submissive, unable to adapt." Marcus. 6 months after the invasion began, Elena stood in the command center of what had once been the Geneva Peace Center. The building had been damaged by alien attacks, but human engineers had rebuilt it stronger than before. The walls were reinforced with metal from captured alien ships. The communication systems used both human and alien technology working together. The resistance had grown into something the aliens never expected, a real army. Humans across the world had learned to fight with weapons they built from salvaged alien technology. They had learned to move like shadows through their own cities. They had learned to strike fast and disappear before the enemy could respond, but today was different. Today they would stop running and hiding. Today they would take back their world. Marcus stood before a wall-sized display showing the entire planet. Red dots marked alien strongholds. Blue dots showed human resistance bases. Green lines showed the network of tunnels and hidden paths that connected them all. "The final assault begins in 6 hours, Marcus announced to the room full of commanders. "Captain Santos reports that her fleet has grown to 12 ships. Resistance cells in every major city are ready. The sonic weapon network is online." Elena looked at the display and felt a mixture of pride and sadness. So many good people had died to reach this moment. Dr. Wright, who had given his life to save others during the Geneva raid. Dr. Kim, who had been captured while trying to hack alien communications. Hundreds of fighters who had fallen in countless battles across the globe, but their sacrifice had not been wasted. Every attack had taught the humans something new about their enemy. Every captured piece of alien technology had been studied and improved. Every rescued prisoner had joined the fight. Maria Santos entered the room carrying a tablet. She had become the Resistance's chief scientist, leading the teams that turned alien technology against its creators. "The sonic cannon network is ready," she reported. "We have 67 installations hidden around the world. Each one can generate the 18.7 kHz frequency at full power for 30 minutes. What about their command ships?" Elena asked. "That's the beautiful part. We've learned that their ships use the same crystal technology as their bodies. The sonic waves should work on their vessels too," Maria smiled. "We're going to shatter their fleet like glass," a communication alert sounded. Captain Santos appeared on the main screen, broadcasting from orbit. Behind her, Elena could see the bridge of a warship that looked nothing like the old Terran Defense Force vessels. This ship was sleek and dangerous, built from captured alien technology and human engineering. "Ground control, this is Fleet Command," Santos said. "We have visual contact with the alien fleet. 42 vessels in orbit, including their main command ship. They still don't know we're here." "Status of our fleet?" Marcus asked. 18 ships ready for battle. "We're outnumbered, but we have advantages they don't expect. Our ships are smaller and faster. Our weapons are designed specifically to exploit their weaknesses. And we know this star system better than they do." Elena activated her communicator. "All resistance cells, this is command. Operation Liberation begins now. Remember what we're fighting for. Remember who we lost. Remember who we're saving." Across the world, the response was immediate. In New York, resistance fighters emerged from the subway tunnels beneath Manhattan. In Tokyo, hidden sonic cannons rose from disguised buildings. In London, teams of saboteurs struck at alien power stations. In São Paulo, freed prisoners joined the fight against their former captors, but the real battle was happening in space. Captain Santos led her fleet out of the asteroid belt where they had been hiding. The human ships moved in formation, approaching the alien fleet from the direction of the sun to hide their thermal signatures. Elena watched the space battle on screens throughout the command center. The first alien ship to die was a supply vessel that simply shattered when hit by concentrated sonic beam weapons. The crystalline hull fractured into millions of pieces that sparkled like deadly snow. The aliens responded quickly, but they were confused. Their energy shields were useless against sonic weapons. Their superior numbers meant nothing when their ships were being destroyed by technology they didn't understand. "Direct hit on their command vessel," Santos reported. "But it's still functional. They're adapting faster than we expected." On the ground, Elena coordinated the global assault. Resistance fighters in Geneva had taken control of the Alien Research Center. The crystal towers that had once symbolized peaceful cooperation were now weapons pointed at the sky, but the aliens were not giving up easily. Their ground forces began a systematic counterattack, using weapons that could level entire city blocks. The crystal beings moved with deadly efficiency, no longer pretending to be peaceful researchers. Elena received reports from around the world. The resistance was taking heavy casualties, but they were also winning. For every human who fell, too. Aliens were destroyed. For every building that was damaged, an alien installation was captured. The turning point came when Maria successfully activated the global sonic cannon network. 67 hidden installations around the world began broadcasting the lethal frequency simultaneously. The effect was devastating. Every alien on the planet's surface began to vibrate violently. Their crystal bodies started to crack and shatter. In space, the alien fleet was in chaos. Half their ships had been destroyed or disabled. The survivors were trying to retreat, but Captain Santos's fleet was faster and more maneuverable. Elena's communicator crackled. It was a transmission on alien frequencies, but the words were in English. Someone had learned to use their communication systems. "Humans of Earth," the voice said. It was different from the voices they had heard before, weaker, more desperate. "This is Subcommander Veltar of the Hegemony Fleet. We request negotiation." The command center fell silent. After 6 months of warfare, the aliens wanted to talk. Elena looked at Marcus. "Should we answer?" You're the diplomat, Marcus said. But remember what they did to us. Remember what they took from us? Elena activated the communication system. This is Dr. Elena Vasquez of Earth. Why should we negotiate with invaders who came to enslave us? Because ... The alien voice hesitated. Because we were wrong. We studied your piece, but we did not understand it. We thought it made you weak. We were incorrect. You're only talking because you're losing, Elena replied. Yes, the alien admitted. But also because we have learned something about your species. You chose peace when you were strong. You chose war when peace was taken from you. This is ... Das is not what we expected. Elena felt the weight of decision on her shoulders. Around her, the command center waited for her response. On screens, throughout the room, she could see human fighters preparing for the final assault on the remaining alien positions. What are you offering? She asked. Complete withdrawal from your system. Return of all captured humans. Compensation for damages, the alien paused. And information about our homeworld. We are not the aggressors we appear to be. We are ... We are refugees. Elena was surprised. Refugees? Our world is dying. Our sun grows cold. We have searched for a new home for 1,000 years, taking what we needed from other worlds to survive. But your species has shown us another way. What way? You achieved unity without conquest. You created abundance without taking from others. You chose cooperation over domination. The alien's voice carried what sounded like sadness. We forgot how to do these things. War became our only tool because we believed it was the only tool that worked. Elena looked around the command center. These people had given everything to defend their world. They had learned to fight because they had no choice, but fighting was not who they were. It was only what they did when peace was threatened. If we agree to negotiate, Elena said, what guarantee do we have that you won't attack again? None, the alien replied honestly. Except this, you have proven that your species is more dangerous in war than we are. Any future attack would be suicide. Elena made her decision. All units, this is command. Cease fire. Maintain positions but do not advance. We're going to talk. The negotiations took 3 days. Elena led the human delegation, but she was not the same trusting diplomat who had welcomed the aliens 6 months ago. She was harder now, wiser, more careful. She had learned that sometimes peace must be defended with strength. The final agreement was signed in the ruins of the old peace center. The aliens would withdraw completely from Earth. All human prisoners would be returned. The hegemony would provide technology to help repair the damage they had caused. But most importantly, Elena offered something the aliens had not expected. Help. Human terraforming technology could save their dying homeworld. Human agricultural techniques could feed their people. Human diplomatic methods could help them join the galactic community as partners rather than conquerors. Why? Sub-Commander Veltar asked through his translator. Why offer aid to those who attacked you? Elena looked out the window at the city below. Human and alien workers were already beginning to repair the damage together. Because this is who we are. We choose peace when possible. We fight when necessary, and we help when we can. The alien was quiet for a long moment. Your species is ... remarkable. We studied your history for months before attacking. We thought we